last-minute trend.
Yeah.
We're forever a part of the culture. HBCU Pulse always has you on lock. From the shade room to your favorite news feed, and now on your TV and radio. We are the #1 outlet for HBCU culture. Follow HBCU Pulse on social media and visit hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community.
What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, here in the building for another special edition of the show. On today, the HBCU Experience Movement is back. They have a new book. It's going to be censored at Grambling, and I have the perfect person to start off this interview series that we've done for like the past year. But we have Ahvery Thomas, a Grambling University alumna. And also, she's an attorney. And I told her that I wish I was an attorney. I wish I could have came back and took my time. I don't regret my degree. I'm a mass comm graduate, but I wish I could have took that mass comm degree and went to law school, maybe Howard Law, something like that, and got my degree and would have been an attorney. But how you doing today, Ahvery?
I am doing good. I'm so happy to be on here with you tonight.
Listen, I'm so excited to have you on, and it's like a lot of different things going on. It's Grambling's election season as well. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we progress in the interview. But first and foremost, I gave an introduction for you, but I need you to tell everyone who you are.
I am Ahvery Nicole Thomas. Since I'm an attorney, I like to put my little middle initial in there. So Ahvery Nicole or Ahvery N. Thomas, Esquire. I'm actually from Grambling, Louisiana. I went to the lab schools there. Went to college there, got 2 degrees from there, and then I came down to Baton Rouge and went to law school. And right now, I have a couple of jobs. So, and when I say a couple, I mean like a couple, but you know, your girl got to get her money. So there's that. But I'm at my regular job right now. I kind of turned my camera to where you can see, a couple of things. But yeah, so I'm doing good though. Yeah.
Hey, we love to see it. Listen, get into the money. Listen, like, hey, you need a main job, a side job for your side job. There's a lot going on here with all the stuff going on in the economy and the taxes, but we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, you gotta get your money, man. Like, I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I decided to go to law school, because when I teach classes at the law center here too. What I usually tell my students is, once you become an attorney, once you get that JD, you'll never be broke. You might not do what you want to do, but you can feed yourself, you could clothe yourself, and you put yourself up in a house somewhere. You'll never be broke. So, boom.
Hey, listen, I wish I could give that advice to my previous self. Oh my gosh. I'd be like Method Man in Power Book 2. Oh my gosh. But I just said that would be me. But So let's go to your experience at Grambling State University. So what made you choose Grambling as your HBCU?
Honestly, tradition. My entire family went. So my family is a pro HBCU, right? But literally everybody, aunts, uncles, parents, cousins, myself, my niece is now there. It's just a traditional space to be. And like I told you before, I'm a local. Well, I consider myself a local, So that was what I knew when I grew up. I'm comfortable there. I had a love for Grambling State University before I even went to college, even thought about going to college. Well, I knew I had to go to college, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, right there. And then also too, so my father works there and has been working there for over 40 years now. So the way it was set up too, if you went to the lab school there was and then you had someone working there too, then that kind of helped with paying for college and everything. So when I was getting my bachelor's, I honestly didn't have to take out any loans unless I just wanted a refund. But it was so school was basically as free as it could be without it being free. And then when I won Miss Grambling, then life was good that year. So, so yeah, but that's why tradition, family, you know, and I just loved it before I even got to college.
And I love it. I especially love that legacy piece because I think that's something that as HBCU alumni, we all really want that. You know, we want to build a legacy at our HBCUs or at several HBCUs. We want to see our children also go to those HBCUs. So I think that that legacy piece is really important. So let's talk about your time at Grambling. Oh, no, let's go. I want you to go ahead. No, let's talk about legacy. Let's go ahead.
No. I was just going to add, I even have cousins that went to PWIs that would then go to Grambling for their master's or their doctorate just to say, you know, I got this piece of education from this HBCU. So just to add on to that legacy. So,
hey, I love it. And I want to say, listen, if we have anybody that went to a PWI for undergrad and they went to an HBCU for graduate school, you are part of the family. Okay, it took you a little bit to come to the family, but you are a part of the family, and we do expect them when it's an HBCU, when it's HBCU PWI battle, they got to side with us. Okay, that's the pact.
They have to. That's the only way it works.
Listen, that's the pact. You're an attorney. I'm gonna get you as an attorney to draft the contract. Okay, they got to sign it at the family reunion.
As soon as they walk across that stage from graduating with that degree from that HBCU, here it is. Go ahead, get your John Hancock.
and if they don't abide by it, they will be sued. Anyway, let's go and move on. Let's go and move on. So let's talk about your time at Grambling. So I'm going to mention a year for you, and I want you just to give us like a glimpse into your life at that point. So let's talk about your freshman year at Grambling.
My freshman year was exciting, new, and eye-opening on just life in general. You realize once people get away from their parents, they're more free-spirited. And not only for myself, but my friends and seeing different things. But no, freshman year was good. Freshman year allowed me to grow as a person as well. You remember how I told you that I'm from there? So, you know, local, I called myself the local joker. Like, that's just, you know, but when it's different because I went to the lab school and literally across the street was the university. And it was so different, even though I grew up so close, being able to be on that campus and immersed in that culture was very, eye-opening and I guess rejuvenating as a person too. So freshman year was lit though. it was lit. Like, I mean, you know, freshman year, that's when you start going to parties and you figure out your style, you figure out your wants and compatibility with other people, you figure out you figure out who you are. And freshman year was that. Freshman year definitely was that. So
listen, I love it. A lot of folks say that freshman year is their favorite part of their college experience. Wasn't mine. It was not mine. Sophomore year is when things started to really get cool. And junior year, honestly, was my best year. But we'll get there when we get there. So let's talk about.
I mean, for me, it worked out. I guess because again, being a local person, that I kind of knew some people already, so it wasn't like that awkward phase that some people go through when they go to college. Like I have plenty of friends from Chicago, from Denver, Colorado, from Los Angeles, from Seattle, from all of these places. And so when they got there, you could tell, like, you know, let's say we go to the CAF, right? There, you can tell the freshmen from the people who are sophomore, juniors, and seniors in college, because they're kind of, you could tell that they're like fish out of water. For me, though, I already knew like a handful of people here and a handful of people there. So it wasn't that awkward for me. So my freshman year, when I say that it was eye-opening, it was just more eye-opening to learn different people, learn different cultures, even though we're all of the, I guess, diaspora of Black folk, right? People from different regions, or even, you know, I have some friends from the islands and, you know, different areas of the world. it was eye-opening in those spaces of where I can appreciate our differences. But yeah, my freshman year for me, it wasn't that awkward phase that some of my friends went through looking to make friends. So, and then
No,
that was the year also. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I totally get it. Like, I think that, when you have that legacy and you already been there and you got that family
Mhm.
lineage, it's not really new to you, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So for me, that freshman year wasn't as crazy or unfamiliar as, for instance, I have a friend of mine who she was actually my roommate, and it just so happened that we both ended up being cheerleaders, so it worked out. But her story, her mom dropped her off and said, "Good luck," and she had to make her way.
That's something else right there.
Yep. Good luck. Don't call me to come pick you up. Have fun. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. And we
Hey,
ended
that's
up
something else
becoming
right
friends right then and there. But that's some people, when they get there, they only know themselves, unless you're in those spaces where, like, for instance, I had a cousin that came, but my little brother was going to school too, so they were freshmen together. So unless you end up in a space to where you already have friends or family that's all coming to the same college with you, yeah, most of their experiences are like my friends. Like, her mom dropped her off, made sure her dorm room and everything was straight, and was like, "All right, girl, I holla." So
Hey, that's how it is sometimes. That's how it is sometimes. So let's talk about sophomore year.
Mhm. Sophomore year is when I decided to be serious about life. Because again, freshman year for me was fun. I just made sure that my grades didn't fall, but it was fun. Like, you go to whoever has a kickback going on, you go into that. Whoever, whether it's at someone's frat house, whether it's at someone's, whoever house, or if you go into the club, and then, your freshman year too. So Grambling is in a space where you have you have three colleges within 30 minutes of each other. You have Grambling State University, you have Louisiana Tech, you have ULM. And between those three, somebody doing something. And so you live that life. But my sophomore year is the year when I decided, okay, this is what my major is going to be. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buckle down and do what I need to do. Did I still have fun? Yes. Was it as much as I did my freshman year? Maybe not. But but no, my freshman year was not freshman year. My sophomore year was a good year, even though, and I think I told you this before we got on. I ran for office twice, and so I ran for Miss Sophomore at the end of my freshman year. Did not win that. So my freshman year was fun. That little piece of time, but I got over it. But my sophomore year, I had a good time. And I also was able to become even better with cheerleading, because I had to. So the way that cheerleading works there, it's definitely a serious thing to us. And the coach there at the time, we used to go to nationals and everything. And so what I will say, was my sophomore year was like a perseverance type year too. Having to deal with making sure that I met the requirements for that. So for me to, so the way it worked then, everybody goes to all the home games, you cheer at the home games, whatever. There was a cutoff for the away games. There was a cutoff for nationals. There was a cutoff for all of these things. And baby, the first couple of away games, I did not make. I didn't make the cut. I wasn't doing well. And I felt as if I was letting myself down in that space. And then I was able to come out of that on top. I was able to end up going to Bayou Classic. I was able to go to nationals. I was able to do all these wonderful things. So my sophomore year was more of perseverance after that loss, growing as a better, to me, athlete. I know people like to talk about cheerleaders aren't athletes, but forget y'all. I feel like we're athletes. Um, and then making sure that I kept up with my grades, because again, like I told you, that was when I knew, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the major that I want to do this in. I need to, buckle down and get my grades and stuff together. So yeah, sophomore year was very, a new me type deal.
No, I love it. I love it.
I'm putting away my high schoolish games and becoming an adult.
I think that it's like that for us all, but I have to ask this. So in my mind, I'm trying to calculate the years. Okay, I'm not that great at math. I was a mass comm major. Not that great at math.
Please don't tell me you asking me my age now.
No, I'm not asking your age. I'm trying to figure out when Barack Obama campaign you was in school. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the Barack Obama.
I was a junior. Let me see. Hold on.
Was it 08? Yep, it was 809, right? 809. So I want to just lead into that. So you were on campus when Barack Obama.
I was on a super black campus when the first black president was elected. We had a watch party in the Black and Gold room. And it's like the main banquet hall, or call it the Black and Gold room. We had a watch party. Everybody, either inside. There's like a little balcony thing. I think they closed it in now. There was like a little balcony area that looked down into the yard. The way that the campus is made, the student union and the CAF are right across the street from each other. And that street between the two is called Main Street. When it came up that he was projected to be the winner, I wish that the cell phone videos and everything that's big now was big then, because you could have sworn that you know how people react when they win the World Cup. They get to running everywhere and you can't see the ground anymore, and people jumping on cars and people, oh my gosh. That was life. That was life. The entire union, the entire street between the cafeteria, like the entire yard, just full of young Black folks, just excited at the fact that we are able to see the day that a Black man becomes president of the United States. I mean, it's still in like you had people, emotional people running all around. Just it was like a block party. It was like a block party. And still to this day, you even had people like go back to their dorm rooms, put on some fresh clothes and come back out. Because it was a party. It was a block party. Like it was honestly, I guess I can honestly use the words magical. Like it was just to be able to see that such a historic night, to have that night on the HBCU campus, to have that watch party. The fact that it was so many people in the watch, like that was around to even see what's going on. Like to maybe when them people said projected to win, and they showed that man's face and they had that little check mark. Oh, it was up.
Man.
People running out the doors. Oh my gosh. Like it was, man. It was what a time to be alive.
I bet. Like I envy the HBCU students that were in college at that time, because I was in college. I was a sophomore when Donald Trump won. It was the total opposite. You said it was magical when Barack Obama won. It was the total opposite when Donald Trump won, because we found out that he won because me and my SGA president, Lawrence Malloy, in my sophomore year, we were in the student center in the SGA office until a good 1 o'clock, 1:30. We're like, something gonna happen. Like some state is gonna come through and he's not gonna win. And he won. And then we walked back to, the commons, the dorms, and we're like, man, what's going on with our country? And then then the next day, because it wasn't the next day, the same day, okay, we wake up and everybody's like, You saw it too, didn't you?
Yep.
You saw it too, didn't you? What we gonna do? they asked me because I was into politics, so they was asking me like, man, what you think, Randall? I'm like, what do I think? I think this is terrible. I voted. Like, did you? Like, I voted.
Look, absolute opposite. Like, once that projected winner came up, it was up.
Yeah,
it was up. I mean, even I still remember that some people having to come and get some students off the there was a police car outside too. You know, remember I told you like people all on cars and shit. No, excuse me. People all on cars and stuff. And you even had the people had to come like, hey, bro, come on. I know you're happy, but come on, get down. Let's go. But no, it was complete opposite. Now that night that you were talking about, I went to sleep.
You was sleep.
Yeah, I woke up to the news, but yeah, I just was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what happens in the morning. But yeah, 2008 was a different deal.
And for me, I'm way more politically astute now than I was back then. Like I knew enough to be dangerous. I passed civic class, okay, but now I'm more in the weeds. You know, I'm more in depth about what's really going on. But I was telling the folks because we had a watch party too. We watched CNN, and we're in the student center in our ballroom. And I told the folks, I said, listen, I don't know y'all. They were like, no, Clinton gonna win. I'm like, y'all, I don't know. Like I went and voted. I'm pretty sure y'all did, but I just got a bad feeling, and my bad feeling came true.
Yeah.
But I'm living vicariously through you right now because listen, we're gonna talk about your senior because we're gonna get back to you becoming Miss Grambling in a second. But let's talk about your senior year when you were Miss Grambling. So let's talk about that senior year and your experiences during your senior year.
My senior year was beautiful. So one thing about running for Miss Grambling and actually winning, I was more into what can I do to better the campus. I do know that, you know, you have some people out there that are just like, you know, well, what am I going to look like? What my crown going to look like? All this good jazz. Me, personally, I was like, what can I do to help the university the best way that I can? And I was very excited about that. And I'm thankful that I was given a platform to do that in the best way that I could. We did have some issues. We did have some issues with some people that were in higher positions at the time. And my SGA president at the time, he wasn't playing none of them games either. And so what I will say is that the administrator that gave me my flowers for my coronation was not the same administrator that gave me my flowers for Bayou Classic, okay? And we did that for the betterment of the university at the time, where, you know, at least for us as students, that's what we felt. You know, other people might think other things, but, you know, what if? And so in that space, I worked with my court as well to make sure that their platforms were done to the best of their ability as well. We had a really good vice president of student affairs that helped us out too. And so for me, being able to not only do the things that I felt would better the campus, but also helped with recruiting and ambassadorships with the school and everything worked out really well for me. And again, I think I have a different type or a different level of love for Grambling State University than other people. So that's why, for me, it was very important to not only run, but to win, because there were things that I wanted to put in place that hopefully, you know, are still being, you know, done today. One of the main things was to be able to put students first. What do they want to do? This is their university, right? So let's listen to them. Let's have these town hall meetings and whatever else that we need to make sure. I don't care how small the situation is. If it's just, there's no tissue in the bathroom, let's put tissue in the bathroom. Or if it's as big as there's a professor that is not doing their due diligence as in teaching a class the way that they need to, and yet failing their entire class. Well, that isn't the student's issue. Let's figure out what's going on with this teacher. So no matter how big or small the issues, what I wanted to do is to make sure that the students were heard. And I think that myself and the SGA president at the time did a good job of that. So that was the main piece of my senior year. And I think the other thing that kind of helped me out with that too is because when I won Miss Grambling, I was actually a 5th year senior. So I was a double major in business management and marketing. And so that year, my classes weren't as strenuous for me to have to, it wasn't hard to do time management there. I was able to put some time here for my classes, but put time here as Miss Grambling to make sure that everything is working together. I even had, when I was Miss Grambling, so you get an office and everything like that. And I remember one of the, I guess, sponsors or administrators over SGA actually came to my door one day and was like, "You're probably the only Miss Grambling that has ever been in her office this long or this many days or whatever." And I was just like, "Oh, that's strange." But she was like, "Look, people just do their platforms and they go on about their business." But for me, it was bigger than that for me. So my senior year was very rewarding. It was a beautiful situation. And not just for the university, but the different things I did off campus made me appreciate my position, appreciate what I had going on, and to actually value it more than just a crown and a sash situation. So I definitely enjoyed it.
I love it. Like I told you before we hopped on the interview that, I've been doing election consulting for 3 years and I'm retiring after this year. And my client is actually campaigning right now at another school. And, one thing that I always tell my folks, and I told my client this year, is that you have to be rooted in the platform and be rooted in change. Because especially now in this social media era, you see a lot of folks that like to put on a show. They love putting on a show, the outfits, the graphics, all these different things. But we're running for these positions for a reason. And I love what you said about if there needs to be toilet in the restroom, we put,
I don't care how big or small.
Listen, we need to put that toilet tissue in the restroom, toilets. We need to put soap in there. You're gonna get community service hours. All these like that's what you have to do, because that's the advocacy piece, even for rural court. Because I think that oftentimes the distance of the rural court, the campus queen that's walking and waving, but that campus queen is also a leader as well, and she has a voice. That rural court has a voice. So I want to talk to you about campaign season, because Grambling, ironically, is having campaign season right now.
It is.
So
it is.
I want you to give the young women that are running to be Miss Grambling right now some advice as a former Miss Grambling.
My advice to those running right now would be to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because what I dislike is for you to put on that crown and put on that sash and do nothing but take a picture. And I think that, like you said, you not only are you a campus queen, but you're also a leader. You actually have the voice and the power to make some things change. You have that voice. Go ahead and use that voice. Make sure, but the main thing, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Some people want to do it just so they can, be voted on and get into an Ebony magazine, say they've been in Ebony. Some people do it just, that's, unfortunately, and I guess it's just a bigger situation as well. Unfortunately, some people look at the queen as if she's a photo op. That's it. Not realizing that you do have things that you can do. You do have spaces where you can speak up for other people, other organizations, other spaces on campus. You have that voice to advocate for your school, to advocate for who you are, for the organizations you are a part of. Allow this platform to be used well. And I will say that the Miss Gramblings that I do know have done very well. The ones before me, the ones after me, and I just hope that whoever wins, those who are running, continues that legacy of pushing for change in the most positive ways for the university. So do it for the right reasons, ladies, please. And those who are voting, pick who you believe will best fit that job. And that's it.
And no more need to be said for that one. You have to have an informed vote and informed pick. And I like I said, I love the piece that you said about it being bigger than just the smiles, the waves, the Instagram likes and follows, being posted on HBCU posts. Because everybody want to be posted on posts. I'll post it for you for your platform. Okay, everyone be posting on my Instagram page. I need platforms. I need change. I need advocacy. The image is important. It's very important to represent the students the right way.
Image is definitely important. Yeah.
And represent the university as well. I think that is important because that's what these student leaders are supposed to be doing as well. And recruiting and social media, all these different things. Yes. But the advocacy and change on campus is really what's needed. So I love that you, I love that you centered on that when you were Miss Grambling, and also you're saying it to the folks that are running right now. But let's go on and pivot to the book. Listen, the HPCU Experience Movement, the Grambling State University edition is coming soon on Amazon. The HPCU Experience Movement always has amazing books. You got to check them out. You can get them on Amazon. Yes, you got to get Amazon right now. So I want you to tell us, what is your chapter in the HBCU Experience, the Grambling State University edition, about?
What is my chapter about? Can I speak on that yet?
You can't listen. You can give a snippet. I was told you can get like a little snippet, just a little thought of what it's about.
Don't get me in trouble.
I'm not getting trouble. I'm not getting you in trouble. I wouldn't do that to you.
Actually, since we're talking about elections, it's actually kind of centered around elections. I love it. I don't know how far deep I can get, but I did tell you that I lost my sophomore, but I won Miss Grambling. And there's a story there that I think will show people that whatever you put your mind to, and I know it sounds cliche, whatever you put your mind to, do it. Regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of how your brain try to trick you into thinking that you're not good enough, do it. The only person stopping you is you. You never know what will come from that. So just keep going. So that's basically a snippet. You know, I don't want to give the story away because I actually think my story is pretty darn good. So
it clearly is, because I love that snippet. If that snippet was printed out on the back of the book, I'd buy it. Tell you how much. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. We ain't need no more. We don't need no more. Pre-ordered, okay? Because it's coming soon. Pre-ordered, you know what I'm saying? And then Amazon. I'm telling you, sometimes I feel like, because like I'll go out to my porch and I hear a knock at the door, and I look out and no one's there, but the package is there. So I feel like the drones are starting to fly over and drop it
right now. I feel like you're preaching right now. There was a knock at the door. I don't see nobody, but do you see what? You see that package? That package was there for who? For you. Addressed to who? To you. Hallelujah.
Listen, the good book. The good book.
The good book. You don't know who dropped it off, but it found your address with your name on it. With your name on that package, baby. Hallelujah. A word.
That actually is a word. That's needed. That's definitely needed. Listen, but I think this is an amazing interview. And like I said, I'm super excited to read your portion of the HPCU Experience, the Grambling State University edition. So before we go, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Ahvery Nicole at Ahvery Nicole at Ahvery Nicole. I'm on Instagram, y'all. Page open. Just don't come trolling me. I'm gonna block you. So, but come say hello. I'm here. I'm friendly, or at least I think I am. So,
and you are.
Nicole. It's spelled, thank you. It's spelled just like my name is on here somewhere. It's spelled just like that. It's Ahvery. It's not Ivory. Okay. My mom has an H in her name. She put an H in my sister's name. So when I was born, she said, "Oh, I'm putting an H in her name." My mama do what she wants. So, but it's Ahvery, not Ivory. And my Nicole actually has an H in it as well. So, Ahvery Nicole.
Alabama tradition all around. Listen,
all
Grambling tradition,
around.
H tradition in the name. We love to see it.
H tradition in the name because my mama do what she wants. There you go.
Hilarious. Well, and we usually do this on Instagram Live, so we're switching over to YouTube for this. So I'm gonna let everybody know where they can find us. You can find HBCU Pulse on Instagram at HBCU Pulse, YouTube right here at HBCU Pulse, Twitter and TikTok the HBCU Pulse, and we have our SiriusXM radio show HBCU Pulse Radio that comes on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Make sure to check it out. But outside of that, Ahvery, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And y'all make sure to check out the HBCU Experience, the Grambling State University edition that's coming soon. We'll have more information about that on our Instagram page at HBCU Pulse.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to HBCUPulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.